Sleep is something that is absolutely essential. No human being can live without it. Go a certain period of time without it, and you're pretty much dead. In the book called Why We Sleep by Dr. Matthew Walker, he talks exactly about the importance of sleep, but not just the importance of sleep, but how it affects our mental, emotional, and physical well being. Sleep, when you think about it, is pretty much just you tossing and turning into bed every night until you ultimately sleep for X number of hours, and waking up in the morning, having your whole day go by, and then going back and do it again. However, in this book, he talks about the phenomenon of sleep in a way that you don't even think about before. It makes you consider the small nuances of sleep and how very often a lot of us are taking it for granted. The book actually starts off with the author saying that if you are sleepy at this time, he encourages you to please put down the book and just head to sleep because that's just how important sleep is. And I'd like to read the passage in which he actually says that it's very entertaining and quite interesting how he phrases it. He says, should you feel drowsy and fall asleep while reading the book, unlike most authors, I will not be disheartened. Indeed, based on the topic and content of this book, I am actively going to encourage that kind of behavior from you. So, just goes to say how important sleep is and how the author is just really emphasizing and bringing this point home. So, what are some key lessons from this book? Without going too into depth and giving all of it away, because I would highly encourage you to read this book, especially if you're a human being and you sleep. This book cannot be any more relevant to you. It's highly relevant. So one of the lessons is that sleep, the value of sleep is that it's greatly even more important than diet and exercise. So while diet and exercise, of course, they're both they're paramount for health. The author actually argues, and bear in mind he's a sleep scientist with many years of experience, so he's also collating his research and all to bring home these points. But he basically argues that sleep is even more important than diet and exercise, and chronic sleep deprivation has a more significant impact on our physical and mental health than we ever previously understood. It has a very significant impact. Another lesson from this book is that sleep is a necessity. It's not something that's a choice. We need it. It's a must have. The book kind of it dispels the myth of being a night owl, or some people needing less sleep than others, because this is actually not true. Our bodies have a biological need for 7 to 8 hours of sleep every night in order for it to function properly at an optimal level. Given this fact, there's actually no such thing as catching up or sleep debt. He actually dispels this myth and says there's no catching up on sleep. There's no debt that you can kind of repay. Our brains cannot fully recover from nights previously of lacking sleep. There's no way you can pay off this debt like you would with money. Another takeaway is that um, it's very important for us to understand the sleep stages that we go through. In this book, he talks about not just needing enough sleep, but also how deep sleep, something called deep sleep, is essential for restoration of the physical body. And REM sleep, on the other hand, is crucial for memory, reconsolidation, emotional processing, and our creative minds being able to harness our creativity, and prioritizing both stages, that those being deep sleep and REM sleep, is very important to create an optimal system for brain health. So marrying both of these is very important for our brain health. He also talks in great depth about the hidden dangers of sleep deprivation. Matthew Walker, in his book, he talks about the implications, the far-reaching implications of a human being deprived of sleep, especially not only in the short term but also chronically over a long term, over many weeks and months. What kind of an effect this has? The it not only affects someone's alertness and their cognition or their ability to comprehend information at different levels, but it also increases risks of people getting into accidents. People even it increases risk of people having cancer, people experiencing heart disease or even diabetes. So lack of sleep, it actually made me realize just how detrimental lack of sleep is. This book really was an eye opener, and to the level that now if I feel like I'm lacking sleep, I get a little bit anxious because I'm also thinking about the health implications of this further down the line. And a final takeaway is that, which is actually of great promise, is that everyone can improve their sleep to certain degrees. And it obviously depends on the person and their lifestyle, but everyone can improve their sleep to a certain degree. So there's great hope. He provides quite a few practical tools that we can adopt to improve our sleep hygiene. And this may include establishing a more consistent sleep schedule or creating a relaxing bedtime routine where we avoid screens. Because when we have screens close to bedtime, the technology that we have, it actually emits blue light, which suppresses our melatonin, and this obviously suppresses our ability to sleep on time. It will keep us awake for longer, almost like a caffeine hit. And obviously, he also talks about optimizing the right sleep environment when it comes to creating the right temperature, which I believe he says it's optimal when the room is slightly cool. Obviously, gadget free to avoid blue light emission, and also dark, because as humans normally, prehistorically, and our ancestors would always be asleep at night, and obviously when the sun is out, that's when we'd be up. So we'd also have that system inbuilt within us to sleep better and more efficiently and effectively when things are dark. So he also talks about these different elements of sleep hygiene, such that we can have more restful sleep and also improve our sleep patterns. And obviously throughout the book, he's debunking many myths that we have about sleep. And I really have not read a more insightful book. And if you want to know more about this author's research, if I recall, he was also on a Joe Rogan Experience episode. He was one of the guests on his podcast. So I'd highly recommend you give that a listen, because Dr. Matthew Walker talks in great depth about the research that he's done and the research that is still evolving in this ever developing field. So with that said, if you are a human and you sleep, I would say that this book is very relevant for you, and I can almost assure you that even if you know a lot about sleep, there's a lot of stuff that you probably don't know, which you will learn about if you read this book. With that said, I hope this video is insightful for you. I hope you got some useful lessons. But really, the lessons that I'm sharing are very, very the tip of the iceberg. So I really feel like if you want to get good depth of knowledge about the importance of sleep, this book, I cannot recommend it more highly. It's a very, very insightful book. With that said, I hope this video was insightful. And if you read the book, let me know how you enjoyed it. You can maybe let me know in the comments if you enjoyed the book, what your key lessons were. And I'll see you in another video. Take care. Bye.